with not only Laney College, but also we're pleased to welcome folks from College of Alameda, as well as many industry partners and even four-year partners to discuss the future of artificial intelligence and data analysis. I'm privileged to be there for the first hour, and it was really a very cool event, and I'm so glad to say that. I'm also pleased to provide you an update on my written report to give you some new data. At the beginning of the report, we found that at the time I submitted, we had a 14% increase in students compared to a year ago. That is now dated information. In fact, at the end of last week, it was 15%. So pleased to report that. But some things that are not in your report that I'd like to point out are that the percentage of students who are enrolling as full-time students actually has gone up by 0.5%, which is that's significant. And more than 1,200 students more have applied for financial aid a year ago. So the positive momentum moves forward. October 14th, we're going to have Fall Fest to promote our late starting classes, most of which begin on the 18th. And the future's bright at Laney College when it comes to enrollment, and I'm so pleased to say that. The second thing tonight is part 2 of the BCC report. Hold on, we'll do this again. So excited to hear so early this morning about the NPZ grant and the fact that we were funded. And want to thank as well Dr. David Lee for his part at Laney in submitting. He's doing so much for our community, and especially the outreach to our API community. And thanks a lot, in great part, to efforts of colleagues like him. If you go to multicultural chamber events now in Oakland, Laney College comes out and shows pretty strong. In fact, at the last event, we had 6 people there. It was kind of neat. So we are actually only one of 2 proposals nationwide that got funded. And I think that's something that's incredible. But grants are only as good as how you're going to use the funding. And we're going to be using it for a couple of really incredible reasons in collaboration with BCC. We're going to be looking at increasing and customizing our mental health counseling services to really serve and support API students in this current societal situation of, unfortunately, API hate that's in our community. Also looking at a community that is transitioning from pandemic to endemic and all the things that accompany that. So a lot of contemporary things that are going on. Also for our students who are taking ESOL, this grant will help transition them from ESOL to other classes and towards completion of a certificate, a degree, or even towards transfer. This is exciting, and it really shows the power of working together and something that's wonderful in the Peralta Community College District. Laney's been a pretty vibrant place. A lot of stuff going on our campus, and it's great to just hear all that noise on the quad. Just since the last board report, we had celebration of Constitution Day by the Associated Students of Laney College. On the 17th, we had a Pride celebration event. We had National Voter Registration Day as well. And this week, the Black Student Union has been putting on a series of Power of Your Vote events. And it was so great yesterday to welcome to the Laney College campus for those events, in addition to Peralta College's Foundation Director, Lanice Jones, Oakland Council member, Nikki Fortunato-Bass, and to meet with her and speak with her a little bit. And she certainly was a prominent part of the events yesterday. Speaking of leadership, I am pleased to put the spotlight on our ASLC president, Omolola Athalagbe, who right now is at the National Congressional Black Caucus. And within your board report, you'll see a picture of her with her bag packed standing next to me. She's been busy, and she's really hit the ground running as student body president. Last week, in conjunction with me, we put on basically a joint executive leadership meeting that we're going to have as a monthly event now, where the senior leadership of Laney College, or exec as we call it, will be meeting with their exec and having regular conversations. And I'm so appreciative of her for being open to trying this to see how it's going to work. In addition to that, during the summer, she was one of the first to join me on my podcast, and that was something that was great. And I'll actually close my report tonight by talking about that. Tomorrow, if you have the opportunity, and then of course it'll be available in podcast form, but if you're able to listen to the radio tomorrow at 2 p.m., you'll hear a great conversation that Felicia Bridges and I had with Laura Gomez Contreras, counselor at Laney College, who runs our Puente program, something that is a rising star and just something that's getting more and more students every year and really promoting this idea of transfer. It's a great opportunity to hear about a 25-minute discussion of exactly what Puente is and what it does for students. And I really encourage you to listen to it. But also in our roles, often when we tell the stories of our colleges or tell the story of our district we represent, it's about students. And this experience now 16 episodes in, really saying, you know what, let's make our audience our students and then our community members who are also interested. If you backtrack into the archives of my broadcast, you can not only learn about the Puente program, but you can learn about student basic needs, the needs of students, and what Laney College and other colleges around the state are doing to support. You can hear the story of food distribution at Laney College that began with my predecessor, Dr. Gilkerson, and continues and thrives. You can learn about student life. Often for community colleges, of course, there's the classes you go to, but often what students do after class or before class or in between class, what that life looks like. We had a conversation about that. Student accessibility services. We had a conversation about that as well and talked about everything from state funding to actual programs for students. We also were privileged to have a couple of student success stories, a current student who was a suicide survivor, as well as a former student, an alumni, who now teaches at Cal State Maritime. And then finally, and this has been probably the most visited show so far among our Services for Students broadcasts, we welcomed mental health specialist Susan Yee, and we talked about mental health support at Laney College, as well as the issues that surround mental health support. So as you go out into the community, board members, and tell your stories about Peralta, Laney College, and higher education, I hope you'll consider these broadcasts a support to you in your efforts. And with that, I'll conclude my report tonight.